Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. We're live. We live.
Oh yeah.
See? Look at. So what you guys can't see is that Sofia's sitting on a pillow, so she can be the same height as me.
I'm also 6'3".
Hi everybody. Welcome to Running Westholme. We are on the opposite coast, so it's 4:00 our time.
Yeah, it's gonna
but
get dark.
This is your time. This is your time. You're feeling this. You're a good time.
My time to know.
Absolutely. So, like we said, like I think Morello mentioned in his tweet, we are actually coming to you live from Disney World of all places. So we are here in our hotel room in Disney World. We've got weird lighting now coming in through the side over here. It's good lighting for you. I feel like it's hitting you just right, whereas I'm like cut off right here. All right. Yeah, so we've got Morello in the chat room. He's going to be our producer tech person. So you'll have to forgive us because there's a potential that we'll have a lot of dropped frames. Like I'm already seeing frame dropping, which is not good.
This interface looks intense.
Yeah. It looks like we're dropping like almost 100% of our frames.
That's not good.
That's not good, but I know it's because of the internet.
Internet here is kind of shoddy.
Yeah. So, we're going to check and see. Are you chatting?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You must use Clacker.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So, I'm hoping that the network gets better because if not, I'm really not going to do with it. I don't want us to be dropping literally all of our frames.
Yeah. It's a webcam horror movie from the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. So, are you able to hear? Can you put on your headphones?
QA this for us.
I need you to QA this for us. Because here's the deal. If y'all can hear us and we're just dropping physical frames, I'm going to keep doing this. But if it's losing audio too, I'm not going to do it. We're going to have to figure out something else.
Productive.
We'll do like a video and then post it later.
Audio's good, heavily delayed, video's bad.
Video's bad? Okay.
Audio's good.
So everybody go to a different tab and just listen to us. That's what we're going to do for today. And then we'll record it. I'm recording it on my computer, so we'll be able to have the real video.
Okay, cool.
And we'll put it up on YouTube for later. So.
Handled.
98% drop frames. Mother of goodness. It's like a slideshow, everybody. A really crappy slideshow.
PowerPoint presentation.
It's a PowerPoint. Like, I'm wondering if we almost want to put like a video, like a different thing up. But yeah, we're gonna do it, and then we're gonna put it up on YouTube. So if you hate it, I apologize. Thank you for stopping by. We will do this in podcast form.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So let's get started. So everybody kind of already knows me. Do you want to like tell people a little bit about yourself? Like give them the top level.
Top level?
Yeah.
My name is Sofia. I've known Curly for how many years?
I want to say it's only been like 3 or 4.
That's not true at all. I've known you for like 5 years now. 5 years.
You think so? Dang. Time flies when you're really old.
Happy anniversary. Yeah, we met at PAX several years back.
Yep.
Hit it off.
Yep. We stalked each other on Twitter for a while because...
That is true.
Because...
I like to admit that part, but...
I'm totally happy to admit that part. I'm a creeper on Twitter, and I'm proud of it. So... Ryan actually met you first. Morello met you at an event, and then he's like, I met this girl, and you guys are going to be such friends. I was like, okay, cool. And then I started stalking you on Twitter, and I'm like, yeah, she's pretty cool. So what do you do, girl? Tell everybody about
my business.
Your business?
Well, initially I was
business?
like cosplaying, but that was more of a hobby. But for work, I'm a jewelry designer / business owner.
Yeah, word.
So I own a fine jewelry line, and we produce and distribute handmade jewelry around the world.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's pretty badass. So the other thing about our friendship that's a little bit different is that you and I live on opposite coasts.
Yeah, we do.
So I'm in California, and you're
I'm in East Coast Canada, so I'm in Montreal.
Yeah, and so we have a really solid, like, super solid friendship that kind of has blossomed and done all of this basically with the two of us living, like,
online relationship.
we got an online relationship. I have a girlfriend. She lives in Canada.
It's
It's totally legit.
It's legit. Stop lying.
It's totally legit. She's super hot too. Yeah. So for us, like, our friendship has been kind of developed through on this online thing where we just talk over Messenger and send each other memes all the time. Basically. So
it's efficient.
Yeah, it is efficient. It's really efficient. But I think there's a lot of this weird thing. It's like there's this stigma against online relationships, like online friendships and stuff, that they're not real.
Yeah.
And that I feel like that's not the case at all. Like,
absolutely.
It's so easy now, especially, like, and you and I don't even do this. Like, you could FaceTime your friend all you want. We don't do that.
That's always, like, the top advice, where it's like, how to maintain long distance friendships.
Yeah.
Skype every once in a while, and we've
literally never done that. Literally never done that.
There's other ways.
Like, I think it's primarily like Facebook Messenger for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll like retweet each other and stuff like that. But, you know. So, was it last week or the week before? No, it was episode 3. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about having officers in your guild, and I would say that Sofia is like my tippy top officer. She's definitely like number one for me when stuff's going on. And so we kind of want to talk about what that's like, talk about what it's like to have kind of like online friendships, and talk about how, like, together you are more powerful than when you are separate. And this actually came up last week when we were talking about evolving. Was one of our other friends, Whirligigs, was saying, she's like, should I bring someone with me, like, when I run a quest? And I was like, God damn, yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Whenever you can, you should have someone with you. And, like, Sofia is always there for me when I'm trying to get something done. She's always there to, like, back me up and has my back on everything. And especially because we're both entrepreneurial. Like, you're running your own business, making jewelry. I'm doing my own thing. Like, originally it was... the paper crafting company, and now as I move into coaching, like, we both have these businesses and we can be totally supportive of one another. I think that's one of the weird things that kind of comes up when you're running separate businesses, and I know this has happened with a lot of people, is like, do not make it a zero-sum thing. Like, we can both be successful, and we are more successful because the both of us are boosting each other up.
That's what Ryan was saying before.
Yeah.
All ships rise with the
tides.
absolutely.
Absolutely. All ships rise with the tide is 100% true. It's like sharing in her success. Like, for me, I'm just like, yes, she's doing so much. I'm so proud of her. I'm always like praising her amazing jewelry and being like, my best friend makes this amazing jewelry. You have to check it out. And that's kind of the cool thing, is that in our relationship, it's really, really, really supportive of one another, where we can just say, oh my gosh, you're doing this amazing stuff. There's no, like, sure, we don't really have overlap, but that also just means, like, there's definitely, like, absolute zero competition with each other and stuff like that. And I don't think we would, even if we were in the same industry, we'd still just be like, look at my girl's jewelry. It's amazing. Look at this shit.
We make such awesome stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, one way to look at that is, like, say that you're not competing for spawns, to bring it back to that whole thing. Is like, and you can party up and like really get a lot more done. And the other thing is that the stronger you are, each other are, the stronger you are combined, and the stronger your guild is. And that's kind of that whole, like, all ships rise with the rising tide.
Exactly.
It's like, the stronger you can be for each other, the stronger your relationship, the better everything's going to be, because you're going to have that support there. I'm going to grab my water, but you guys can't even see because your absolute because of the absolute crap Wi-Fi we're on. But you will hear me
Slideshow.
potentially.
That's right.
Yeah, this is the
Vlog.
PowerPoint presentation of of running Westholme. You know, one of the things to kind of bring it back to that like long distance aspect,
Yeah, just base level.
like long distance aspect is like, and then on top of that, the entrepreneurial stuff. Like, so it's like we're long distance and we're
you're
both
busy as hell.
and we're both busy. So it's like, how do you manage that without feeling like you're, and I know this is going to sound shitty, but I know you and I both feel this, is like, how do we keep in touch without bothering each other or being like too available almost, you know what I mean? And thanks for the follow. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us while we are in this slideshow situation. I know, like, for me, one of the biggest things is I'm like, hey, this thing made me think of you. I'm going to send it to you all. And I do that to you all the time. Like, it's either on Facebook or it's on Instagram. I'm like, you have to see this thing.
Memed.
Yeah, it's basically memes. It's 100, almost like 90% memes. At least 90% memes.
But I think we have like a good means of interacting that's not like, it seems like when it's usually long distance, it's like either one, there's like a laundry list of like stuff to go through where it's like, hey, what have you been up to with like family, friends, like new house, whatever. Or it's like reminiscing of like, remember that time we last saw each other?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like good to do that, but
Right,
for that
absolutely.
to be the only thing that you're doing
Right.
is like very limiting.
Absolutely.
You
And
can
I
get
think,
redundant.
yeah, for sure. And so for us, I feel like it's just like, what happened to you today? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on for you right this second now? As
That's
opposed
indeed,
to, you know, like, I don't even remember half the time the last time we saw each other was. Like, apparently I thought it was last year. It wasn't. But, yeah, it can be really weird, and to try to, like, manage all of that stuff along with, and I feel like I'm kind of going through all of this, like especially with the entrepreneurial stuff and everything like that, like, it's so difficult to kind of like do all that. And while I know that's not going to be an aspect in everybody's friendships, I feel like everybody has that to some level or another, where it's like, yes, you and I are both child-free women, so we don't have that as a part of our thing, but we do have our businesses, which are kind of our babies, and our pets that are kind of our babies. Also, we are a pair of differing in this way, where you're like a total cat person, I'm a total dog person.
It's true.
And see, we can still be friends, so don't worry about it.
It's true. It's true. It's possible.
It is possible. We have all this stuff, but like, other people can have family, kids,
Some
their
kind of
own
core
job, and that
center.
kind of stuff. So don't think that when we're saying, oh, because we have our businesses, that this is like, oh, it's not going to be important to
Exclusive
me.
to that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely, there's so much stuff going on in everybody's life that, you know, you can take it as, you can transfer that very easily. I think one of the other things that's been really important for us, building the long distance relationship, having that kind of support for one another, is like supporting each other in each other's endeavors, like we were talking about earlier, where, you know, I'm always telling people, like, look at my friend's jewelry. It is amazing.
Yeah. And it can like look like different things too.
Absolutely.
It's like small scale stuff.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You know,
Versus
liking or retweeting, stuff like that.
Yeah. And, you know, talking about to like larger stuff where it's like, oh, when I had the paper business, like we talked about doing collaborations and things like that. We have all of these things. But I think part of what creates the stronger relationship is that we just do that for each other, and we don't really think about it, and we're always kind of showing up for one another. And I feel like,
Showing up is a good way to put it.
yeah, like I feel as if we always talk about how usually the catchword for our episodes is awareness, but I don't think it's awareness in this one. I think it's going to be showing up for each other.
Oh, there you go.
Instead. So I think that's going to come up a lot. It's we're going to like showing up for each other. Which you would see me doing the little hand sign if we had any sort of like
it's going to be
any sort of frames. Yeah, exactly. It's like boop, 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 boop. But yeah, and so, you know, showing up for each other I think is so important. It's so easy in today's, I'm going to be like a stereotype right now. In today's interconnected world of how easy it is to get distracted by things like Twitch that we're on right now, you know, how easy it can be to just like forget. And I think one of the most important things, and especially talking about the officers in your life and the officers in your guild, is making sure, and I do this, and I'll talk about it a little bit, is to make sure that you're still showing up for those people.
Yes.
Yeah. So like one of my things for this year was kinship. Like one of my core desired feelings was kinship. And so I want to make sure that I'm showing up for people every day. So if I'm not like sending you a meme, I'm checking in with you on Facebook and I'm doing all that kind of stuff to maintain that sort of kinship over time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm starting to do for other people. And I know it sounds cheesy and corny as hell, but it's like a checkbox for me to make sure that I'm doing that, because it's so easy to not do that, to be like, oh, the day got away from me or whatever. It's like making sure that you take that time to show up for your friends over and over again is what I think builds that trust and that kind of relationship that's going to be supportive. And it's like, as you show up for people, they'll start showing up for you.
Yeah. I think it's also like people tend to do these things for their like romantic relationships.
Absolutely.
It's like saying stuff like, I love you, or like I'm thinking about you, and doing things like liking or retweeting or like boosting someone else's business, like as an example, where it's like, oh, you don't want to be annoying, you don't want to be overbearing, where it's like just that thoughtfulness of doing it means a lot to people. I feel
absolutely. And I think, so this is going to be weird, but like there's a woman named Gabby Bernstein who's written a bunch of self-help books. And one of the things that very early on in her books was a quote, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's like, make your romantic relationships more brotherly and your brotherly relationships more romantic. So it's like to say like, take your romantic relationships and make them more friendly, and take your friend relationships and make them more romantic.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It's like when you think about it, because it's so easy to put like romantic relationships up on a pedestal and be like, oh, my romantic relationships are so important. And some people even letting those relationships fall off, like their friendly relationships fall off because of like that romantic relationship being so massive. Yeah. But I think it also puts in your mind that idea that it's like, let your friendships be more than just like friendships. Like, don't worry. It's so easy to be like you said, it's like, oh, I don't want to be annoying, or I don't want to be overbearing or something like that. Yeah. But when you take that and make it like next level, and take that at that kind of, obviously when we say romance, and that'll probably turn a lot of people off. Like we obviously don't make, but intimacy is a better way to put it.
Like
and
vulnerability.
Vulnerability would be good too. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm looking at our notes so that I don't forget anything. Everybody's used to me though, reading my notes when I'm on.
5 episodes in.
Yeah,
5 hours in.
I always read my notes. I'm always going to be reading my notes, guys. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm seeing some stuff here. Like, I don't think one can communicate with Sofia without a healthy understanding of memes.
Like I like that. Relationship.
I like that. Yep. Memeing is very important. We've been trying to make Morello like cringe his skin off with our dabbing.
Speaking of which.
Enjoy that slideshow of both of us like dabbing. So I think so next on our list of things that we were like wanting to talk about, and I think it kind of goes into that making your brotherly relationships more romantic, is asking how I can help instead of can I help, because both of us struggle with this, and we're both like absolute assholes to ourselves.
To be an island, like, no, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't need any help. I'm fine.
Everything hurts.
Yeah, exactly. When you say, how can I help? That offers the opportunity for that person to say, I need help with X or Y or whatever. And they don't have to try to breach that whole thing. Because it's like you were saying, I'm an island. I don't need any help. I'm perfectly fine. That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not always
Deep down
true.
we all know it, but.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that there have been times for me, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well, where it's like, I want to reach out, but it's like, oh, I know that they've got so much going on and this, that, and the other thing. It can be so easy to just be like, oh, I guess I'll just handle it by myself. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, like especially for me, and we'll get into
Everyone's
this.
doing that.
Yeah, exactly. There's like this thing of, it's like dominoes. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you know, they don't ask her for help from me. Oh, sorry. I was like, what is that? So we're right on the road, guys.
Yeah,
So
right.
enjoy that extra beautiful thing of the road sounds
Sonic.
with our Sonic. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. He's out there. Yeah, because it's domino effect where you're like, oh, well, they don't need my help, so I can't ask for help from them.
Yeah.
And this kind of weird shit that kind of like piles up on top of each other. Meanwhile, we're all suffering in silence.
Like, actually.
Yeah, like actually suffering. And not having to worry. And we're all sitting here worrying about it, where we're just like, I really wish I could reach out to that person, but they're so busy and they don't need me. And it's like, I know, like, at least for me, and we'll go into this a little bit later, but like, my love language is acts of service, and so I'm like looking to help people, but I'm like, everybody is so much cooler than me, they don't need help.
See what it is.
Meanwhile, everybody else is like sobbing, and I'm just like,
please help us.
no one needs my Hufflepuff bullcrap.
We do.
It should also be mentioned that along with my husband, Sofia is also a Slytherin.
That's right.
So all the people closest to me are Slytherins. I think I
Yeah,
I have a whole like grand theory about how the houses are interlocked with each other and how like the relationships work with each other, but that's a whole other
future
episode.
episode. That's right.
Mm-hmm. So keep moving on through our points. Unless you have something to add about the like how can I help versus
No,
can I help?
that's
You feel like it's pretty well covered?
broad, yeah.
Yeah. So, along with all of that, can I help? How can I help? Is the fun part about having relationships with intimacy, which is having to be honest with each other.
Dropping those truth bombs.
Dropping the truth bombs, that's right. And I think the point is like, that is required to really have the kind of deep friendships I think that a lot of people really want to have.
Strive to have, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, if you want to have someone who knows you the way that you want to be known, like, you have to let people in. And you have to show, like, show them the stuff that you want them to know. And have, as scary as that is, those moments of vulnerability. Because you can't really have, like, no one's like, oh, thank goodness I have this really deep relationship that's based on nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That would be so easy and wonderful, but it's
we wouldn't need to do this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't need to do any of this. Everybody would be awesome. I mean, you all are awesome. Again, Hufflepuff. You guys are all awesome. But, you know, I think that kind of feeling that a lot of people are looking for in both in their friendships and in their romantic relationships requires like you to be ugly and gross sometimes.
Yeah.
Which I know sounds horrible, but that's really what it feels like in those moments of like really vulnerability is it's like, here's all of my crap.
Yeah.
It's right here, and I have to trust you not to like slap my hand that I've shown it to you. Yeah, or recoil in like horror at who this person really is.
That's the thing. I think like a lot of people, they have like acquaintances or like general friendships and they're like, how do I get to that like best friend level? And I think like opening up that first time and being vulnerable about like, hey, I'm having this problem in my life, or like I'm dealing with this, or saying something like really that's quite frankly like embarrassing.
Yeah.
And then like dealing with that fear of the other person potentially being like, that's repugnant.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the hope is that they'll react with kindness.
Right. Absolutely.
And then that's how you open that like door for intimacy.
For intimacy, absolutely. And it has to be as from the other side of the thing is like, if someone opens up to you and you want to have that deeper relationship, you have to then open up to them. It's not a one-way street. You're not going to get
a therapist.
Yeah, exactly. You're not their therapist. If that's the way it is, you have become their therapist. You're not their friend.
Get that money.
Yeah, get paid. But I feel like the important part of it is like, if a person opens up to you, make sure that you open up back.
For sure.
Because it's like it's totally a two-way street. I wish I could say that it wasn't and that like that kind of stuff was easy, but it isn't.
Surprisingly so.
Yeah, it isn't. It really is. It's difficult to sorry, I'm checking. Okay. Thing to ask. How did I decide or know that Sofia was a top officer? Okay, we'll get to that. Keep that pinned for me. for me,
What?
technician. You'll hear me eventually, don't worry. So he's on a delay. So this whole thing is a mess. We've got like 14 errors on here because we're dropping 97% of our frames. This is crazy. Thank you for being a part of this ride with me. Yeah.
This is me showing up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love you, girl. I love you, girl. But yeah, you have to support each other with like realness too. And I think it can be easy to like, even if you say, like, let's say in this situation, person is honest and open with you, or you're honest and open with a person and they reciprocate that, but then like everything is kind of, I don't want to say like trite, but like kind of
Aggressive?
no, or even just like it's not, they'll be like, oh yeah, like I've totally had that happen to me, you know, or whatever. Like literally not like that's what they said.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. So you have to be like, no, that like if you've had the similar experience, share it and be honest and open about it, and don't try to belittle your own experience. Don't try to do anything, but also don't make it a competition.
Yeah.
Like for as much as I say, like don't belittle it, but it's not like exactly. It's not like the sadness games. It's like who can be sadder, who can be all that. It's just like support, especially in a supportive situation. You're not. Don't make everything a pissing contest. I think it's the best way to put it. But be real with people and be honest, and don't. If this is so because I'm me, I have to say, never belittle someone's problems, especially if they come to you. Don't intimidate them. Don't tear them down. Never do that. If somebody is going to be honest and open with you,
it takes so much courage.
It takes so much courage. The least you can do is be kind. Mm-hmm. But especially in a relationship that you want to make something else, a thing that you want to turn, like this person is, if not an officer for you, like next tier down potentially, you need to be cool. Mm-hmm. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but I just want to be like, it's too easy to be, especially like I know myself, one of the ways that I kind of don't deal with emotions is to be sarcastic. And so I can have a tendency to be a real asshole from time to time by accident because I like can't deal with feelings. Yeah. Just putting it out there. But I always make sure that when someone's honest and open with me that I try to turn down that sarcasm.
Fair enough.
Turn down that sarcasm. So I actually don't know what this next part is because I didn't write these notes. So apparently we're actually committing to action. That when I say I'd like to do X.
Yeah.
And
so what I mean by that is it has less to do with like the entrepreneurship part of our friendship and more like maintaining those long distance friendships. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I was talking to Morello about was a lot of people say like, oh man, we should meet up like at PAX for instance. Yeah. And then it like fizzles out and nothing ends up happening. Yeah. You in particular are really good at like actioning events. You're like, we're gonna have this set up and then actually getting to like the point where you do it. You're good at organizing that. Yeah. Well, thank you. First and foremost. Because we make new memories.
That's true. We do make new memories. And actually I have to give props to somebody else who I hope is in chat. I haven't seen her chat yet, but our friend Whirligigs is like the queen of that. And she totally taught me how to be really good at that because I have a tendency, because I am an introvert and basically like homebody to the extreme, I'll have sometimes be like, yeah, we should totally hang out and do this thing. And I'm like, JK, I'm gonna stay home.
So you come over, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like, making sure that you actually do the things that you talk about doing. Like, again, there's so
bigger
much
scale showing up.
Yeah, I feel like if not like we've got awareness, we've got showing up, and I feel like that part of showing up is integrity. Like having that commitment to like, if you say you're going to do something, you're absolutely 110% going to be there for that person. If you want this person to be an officer, you have to bring integrity. You have to show up. Mm-hmm. It's such an important thing, even long distance, even with this other shit that's going on in your life. Like we're always
make time for it.
Yeah, by always making time for it. And especially like when you think about it in the construct of, just to like bring it back to what running Westholme is all about, which is talking about video games. It's like, let's say your group is gonna go raid and you just don't friggin' show up.
Yeah,
like
we don't have a healer now.
yeah, thanks, buddy. We didn't need that second healer. But yeah, it's like that transfers really well, really critically to the actual real life in-person friendships. It's like, if you aren't showing up, or if you're saying you're gonna show up and then you don't, that person is like, I know a lot of people will deal with things differently, but if something happened like that to me, I'd be like, well, I'm clearly not that important to this person.
Yeah. Bail culture is like a really big problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like ghosting on people, bailing on people, it's really strong, and
like not being vocal about it too.
And, yeah, absolutely. And it's like, as much as I hate it, I kind of do it myself to a certain extent.
I think it's something everything like. Wow, it's something everyone needs to work on these days. Especially like if you're an introvert, it's so much easier to be like, actually, never mind, peace.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm not like it's because we're texting one another and we're not seeing each other in real life. We're calling. It's like calling into work sick. You're like, but now you get to do it on Facebook. I'm totally sick, and I give myself more of a pass because I have the chronic pain issues where I'll tend to be like, I am in pain, but I realize it's like
it means like that much more when you do show up, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of one of those weird things where, you know, it's about but it is about trust, and it is about showing up when you say you're going to show up, and doing that for people. Like we said, a lot of this kind of stuff is specifically for officers, but like any kind of person that you want in your to be a little bit more important in your life, make sure integrity, showing up, hand signals no one will see because it's a slideshow. So the last note that we have is talking about love languages, and we've touched on this a few different ways over the different episodes, and I feel like with the officer relationships, it's just as important
as your relationship
as your like romantic relationships.
Yeah.
And so for me, again, I'm lucky because you and Ryan are the same.
I got this now.
Yeah, except I don't. I'm horrible about it, and I feel like an awkward weirdo. So for you, your love language is
like validation, basically. Yeah, like verbally validate that you understand that I'm putting effort in.
Yes. And for me, because mine's acts of service, I have a tendency to just like not do that and be like, here, I found you this present or something nice like that.
Yeah.
Like that's what I do. And so I have to really stress and make sure with both you and Ryan where I'm like, I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
You are very important to me. Even though I feel like a cheese ball every single time I do it.
I think it like works in the reverse too, with like when you know the other person's love language, then you know the way that they're like displaying love.
Right.
So it's like if I'm like verbally telling you like I validate you, it's like that's the way that I understand love and like my top tier of love. So it's like
yeah, absolutely. And whereas I'm like, look, I thought of you and did this thing, and you're like, okay, cool.
I love you. Thanks.
Absolutely. It's so like, again, just to bring it back around where it's like knowing and learning as much about the person as you can and like really making sure that you're doing those types of things for them is important. And showing up, making sure you're doing those things for them. And then to kind of talk about like some shitty stuff that like you and I haven't experienced, thank goodness, with each other, but I'm sure we've experienced in other relationships is like, what happens when that doesn't happen? Like, what happens when you put yourself out there and a person is like, nah, that's cool, I'm not interested?
Well, it's like just inherently because you feel shameful, you just shut down and you're like, cool, I'm a piece of trash.
Yeah.
And I'm unlovable. And I guess I'm never going to have any friends. So.
Yeah, there's that. There is that feeling for sure where you're just like, and I know that for me personally, like I've had that happen a couple times in my life and I really struggle with putting myself
like
out there.
Back,
yeah. Or even putting myself out there later on. Yeah. Like even in the beginning of our relationship, I was like, this girl is way too cool for me. She is not gonna like me. It's not even cool. Like I don't want to be too like I'm gonna be too like come on too hot strong because that's like the story that I heard my whole life. It's like you're this big crazy person.
Like reinforced,
yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, people aren't gonna like you because you're like you want too much. yeah, you're too assertive about it or something like that. But I feel like also even if it hurts. Like, remember to kind of take back that, and I'm going to talk a little like woo-woo for a second because I feel like this is really important in my own life and probably for a lot of other people's, is like, you have to kind of, once you feel, you can feel shitty about it, and that can be cool, and just kind of like get through that in your own way. Try not to dwell on it. It's going to happen, but you know, if you can just kind of move on. But reclaim that energy you were putting towards that person and put it towards someone else.
Well, yeah, because like you can be a peach and not everyone's gonna like peaches.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah,
like,
that Dita Von Teese quote is amazing because she could be the most succulent, juicy peach, and some people are like, I don't like peaches. I hate them.
Cider.
I know. So I am like the embodiment of that.
quote. There you go.
But like for me, I've experienced having those types of relationships where you put a lot of effort into trying to get that person to reciprocate, and some people just are not, it's not going to work. It's not receptive. And what I've had to do is say to myself, and I've had this to like disastrous effects where I've actually had to like have friend breakups, which are harder than I think most of the breakups that I've had with men. They're really tough. And it's like, I think the moment that shifted it for me, and I don't know if you've ever experienced something like this, is it's like, I'm going to take that energy and time and focus that I was putting into this friendship that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And put it into a different friendship. And for me, one of the things I did was I put it actually into our friendship, and our friendship has grown stronger and blossomed more, Absolutely. I think, because of it.
Absolutely.
So you can have that kind of fall from that little bit of a stumble and have something really wonderful come out of it. You can really gain a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? You can just gain a lot from it, I think, if you let yourself, and don't let yourself get down on it. Don't let yourself be like, I'm ultimately unlovable because of this one thing. It's difficult to do, but I think it's definitely worth it.
Definitely.
So I'm going to go back to some questions. Okay. It's not, thank goodness, that the dab happened in between frames. The dab was amazing.
Nice.
That was amazing. So Morello actually put a question in chat saying, how did I decide/know that Sofia was a top officer? Okay. I will tell my version of the story, and then if you have a point that you can figure out that was like when you knew that we were going to be good close friends, I'd like to hear it, because mine is probably going to surprise you.
Okay.
When we were hanging out at that first PAX, I had a conversation with a person who I don't like. She showed up. This person that I am not a fan of showed up and like wanted to have a conversation with me, and
like, not about that life.
No, I'm not. But that was okay. I was being nice and I was being friendly and being polite and had a conversation with her. You showed up, sat down, and you said, "So how's your best friend?" And I'm like, "Bitch!" I'm like, "I love this girl," and that is the point where I was like, we're going to be friends. Because you just like walked up and was like, how's your best friend? And I'm like, oh my God, this girl.
I love that it was like such a clear moment.
Yeah, it was such a clear moment of it just like, okay, cool. We're going to be cool.
I'm like, not to be cheesy, like love at first sight, but like I Twitter stalked you for like ages before I actually met you. And I'm like, you have such a like glowy personality. It's like in person, but like online too, where you're just like, when you get excited about stuff, you like get really excited about stuff, and I'm like, that's such a like type of person that I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, I hate like getting excited about stuff and then people are like deadpan not interested.
Yeah, it's especially, oh my gosh, Dos Equis is in chat.
Oh,
hello. We know who that is.
Yes, we do.
Peach emojis. And he said that was a yas moment. I was like, that was a yas moment, my friend. That was a yas moment. But yeah, I think and that's another one of those things where I feel like people fall into the trap along with like bailing / ghosting. Mm-hmm. It's like pretending that you are not interested. Like, there's a difference between being not interested and just being like, oh, I'm not interested in everything, or playing it cool or something like that. Yeah. I can't. Yeah, aloof. as much as I love, and we were talking about this literally at lunch, where I'm attracted
to it.
attracted to aloof people, I really can't stand it. I'm
Yeah.
like, please come out of your shell.
Yeah. Well, it's like excitement is like, I don't know, contagious.
It is. It's totally contagious, and it's like, it really triggers my whole like I'm too big of a personality if I'm like woo woo woo, and the person's like boom. Oh, you can't see because it's probably you probably can't see because of the podcast situation. But I was like flat face. No,
this movie's okay.
This movie's okay. Yeah, I actually had that happen to me like. And I feel like this guy is probably going to think I was patronizing him and being, like, really shitty to him when I wasn't being shitty to him because I'm just being honest. But I remember specifically seeing the Warcraft movie, which I enjoyed because I'm a dweeb. And I just enjoyed it because it was, like, it was just, like, I wasn't expecting a lot out of it.
You're like, it's not going to be like...
I'm like, it's going to be orcs. There's going to be a bunch of orcs chilling in, like, some dirt. Then they're going to go through a portal, and then there's going to be people on the outside. Exactly. And he was like, oh, yeah, blah, 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 like, talking shit about it. And I was like, yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it. I had a lot of fun. Yeah. Like, that's the type of person. Yeah, I was like, that's the type of person that I am, that I'm really bad about. Still better than Twilight, says Dos Equis. I don't know. There's a certain appeal to the Twilight for me. Like, it's so bad.
It's having a renaissance.
Real talk, though, one of the best endings compared to the original.
I haven't seen
It's okay. I'm not going to spoil it.
I have seen the first Twilight.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but they, like, radically changed the ending to that series from the movie to the books. Ooh. And the movie is amazing. The way that they do it, you're just like, oh my god, it's totally different. It's totally different. So, Producer-san, it is not the room of romances. That speaks too... that actually speaks too low of Twilight, to be honest with you. Did we have any other questions that you saw? No? If anybody has any questions, we can answer them. We have a few more minutes. We actually have like 20 more minutes. Wow, we got through that really fast. That felt like a lot. I felt like a lot of talking.
Efficiency.
Yeah, that's the two of us when we get into when we get together.
We communicate too well.
Oh man, we're too good at this. I think it's actually just because. So, this is gonna sound shitty, but you're gonna have to follow me on this road that I'm gonna take you down.
I'm down.
When we hang out, like. It feels like a really long time, even if it's not. Like, that's a good thing. True. I feel like we get a lot of, like, quality time in together in a very short period of time. So I was like, that must have been, like, 2 hours, but it wasn't. It was, like, half an hour.
That was 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's why we're definitely not doing this. All right. How do we deal with disagreements or conflicts? You and I really don't disagree. That's a problem. And I think if we had one, I would just be like, oh, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
We don't really have
I understand your opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
And I respect that.
Yeah, I think at this point...
have we had any drama?
I don't feel like you and I have ever had drama. But I think that's also because you and I are both very anti-drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actively avoid.
Actively avoid. Not in an avoidance type of way. Like, neither one of us has ever been like, oh, I'm not going to bring that up with her.
Oh, no, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, neither one of us has been like, I don't think, it would take a lot of stuff of you pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to do something crazy. I think I would be, and I think one of the other things that I learned, to take it back to, like, that friend breakup that I was talking about, was that I learned, like, being honest with a person about what your needs are.
That's a big thing.
Is a big thing. And I think that a lot of disagreements and a lot of drama and stuff like that comes from a lack of honesty.
Yeah. And, like, being vocal about your expectations in a relationship.
Absolutely.
It's like, are you bringing to this casual friendship and I'm expecting BFF-ness? Or
right.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, that has definitely been an issue for me in past relationships where, expectation setting. Yeah. It's definitely an expectation, like, setting expectations with that person and being truthful and honest and being like, like, I make a point for several reasons to be like, Sofia is my best friend because I want her to understand that I value her a lot because that ticks the validation box, the words of the kind words, and then also so that she understands like that's how I view our friendship. And so I would want to be like, if she's like, oh, that's cool, but I don't feel that way, then I would hope that they would be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Like, that's not how I feel about it, but that's fine, and so. Because
people say to do that in, like, romantic relationships again, where it's like, oh, I thought we were, like, okay seeing other people, where it's like, oh, I thought we were exclusive. And it's like, if you're not vocal about what it is you expect out of a friendship,
it can get off the rails really, really quickly. Exactly. So that's kind of the way I would say, and I feel like that's a cheesy answer, and I wish we had, I don't wish we had a better answer to what happens when you have disagreements, because I'm glad we don't have disagreements. Avoiding the, oh wow, this isn't a date scenario. Oh no. Yeah. Awkward.
I'm just gonna take these breadsticks.
Take them carbs and get out the door. Absolutely. So, well, I'm glad that we don't have disagreements or conflicts to discuss. I feel like to bring it back is like, that's definitely the buzzword for today is integrity. Integrity being, especially like, because we're specifically talking about relationships with officers, those people who are super high up in your guild, like you have to maintain that level of integrity and honesty. And it sucks and it's hard, especially when you're a human being who has their own issues and stories and crap that they're bringing in from their own lives. You have to just be like, if you're going to take the relationship seriously, take it fucking seriously. Yeah. And that means having awkward conversations, having potentially shitty conversations, and then hoping that when you put all of your crap out on the table and like,
you get what you give.
Yeah, exactly. You get what you give. And then also hoping that it's like, you have to put that hope out there that the person is going to reciprocate back into you what you were looking for.
And if they don't, like, they're not for you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's the same with dating. It's the same with dating where it's like you go out on a couple dates and they're just not right for you. And that's okay too.
It's more likely to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than like, you have a higher like fail to success ratio.
Absolutely. That's a good way to put it. It's like, not everyone, as much as I wish this could be the case, because I may...
Friendship circle around the world.
Everybody's friends. That's just like how it's going to be with real life. Then more intimate, non-religious. Yeah, it is a good example of like as hippie woo-woo as it sounds, like I really feel like more people should take that into account, that idea of making your romantic relationships more brotherly and your brotherly relationships more romantic. Yeah. It's so, there's so many good reasons to do it that I feel like it's one of those things that's like a skill you learn in life is just to be, don't put your romantic relationships on a pedestal. Make sure you boost your friendships up and give it the kind of love and care that it needs.
There's like so much social stigma about like how each of those should be boxed in a certain way.
Absolutely. And it's like, and there's also the stigma, especially of being like a romance and what that means and stuff like that. And I'm like, but then again, I'm the girl who like on Valentine's Day got little bouquets of flowers for all of her friends because
I got advance.
Yeah. So it's difficult to for me to say that because I'm like always about that. But again,
romance my harem.
Yes, my harem of ladies to romance. Oh yeah, make sure you get a girl who you can be a weeb with.
That's right. Hashtag weeb life.
Yeah, weeb life. It's like having a below 1-0 win rate on League, not necessarily completely under your control. Totally
like League reference. I get
League reference. Meanwhile, I feel like
you're like, yes, win ratio.
Sure, I understand the concept of win ratio, but as I discussed a couple episodes ago, like literally don't play League of Legends. I just buy the skins because I may want it at some point. Like I own all the KDA skins.
You're gonna look cute though.
Yeah, I'm gonna look fly.
While I feed.
That's right. Fly while you feed should be a thing. In the words of Ariana Grande, thank you next. I like that. I like that concept. Like, because for as much as that's obviously a song about ex-boyfriends, it could be about anybody.
Applies to relationships in general.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And like taking what you learn from certain relationships and like applying it to future ones. So
For
you're like,
sure.
I'm a better person because of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's what I've learned.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes back to like where I was talking about when that whole thing fell apart. I was able to take what I had been putting into that relationship to kind of keep it afloat and put it into a bunch of other relationships, including my relationship with my husband, my relationship with you. And it really did make those things stronger. And so I feel like having that, as well as, you know, just going through that together, you know, that was like a really fucking awkward time for me.
That was rough.
Yeah, it was a weird situation. And like, luckily you were there for me and Ryan was there for me. And I had that awkward shit that we all kind of went through together, that you guys supported me through, like made all of us stronger, that we went through that, you know?
Yeah, and like the fact that you were like vocal and honest about it when you could have just, again, like
kept
closed
it a
yourself
secret.
off. Yeah. Because it's like not something that's easy to deal with, where it's like people are often can be judgmental, where it's like, but you guys were friends. How do you like break up as a friendship? You know what I mean? Like relationship breakup. So there's like so many obvious reasons, but like having a friendship breakup seems like how does that come about? Like
exactly. And it's like, you know, and people could be like, oh, you're being so over dramatic, but like if the relationship is close, it can be very, and for everybody, it's like, it can be very painful, just as painful again, to bring it whole back, to that relationship being more romantic, is it's like those relationships are important too, and it can be just as painful, to have that happen to you. It was a critical time to have a guild. Absolutely. If I had no one else to go to, I would have gone absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So that was the time I was very thankful for my guild and very thankful for the people that I had in my guild who were there to support me. And hopefully no one else in my life has to go through that, but I know that I'm able to be supportive now because I was supported during that time. Yeah.
That's true.
Absolutely. It's like the more experiences that you have where you can be supported in a healthy way, the better enabled you are to have a healthy support.
You've done that raid before.
I've done that raid before. There you go, girl. You're getting into it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where, you know, once you've done that raid, you can teach others. Nice. Like it a lot. All right, y'all. So we have about 8 minutes left, and because we're actually have dinner reservations, we're going to have to kind of stop on time. So if anybody has any more questions for us or any other comments or anything like that, we would love to hear them. Thank you to all the people who stayed with us during this crazy stream. You guys are amazing. Yeah, once you know the fights, you can share the mechanics, and that's totally true.
I love that.
It's totally true. Once you know, you can share that knowledge. It's really, and when you share that knowledge, you grow stronger as well.
Yeah. Like
in the relationship. So we got a wave. All right. This is us in our slideshow waving to everybody.
That 2-frame gift.
That's absolutely. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Hopefully it's not a funnier each loop situation. Or maybe. I'm okay. Oh, it's a salute. Thank you. Thank you for the salute. Yes, it's real tiny on her thing. And then we got a little owl from Dos Equis. Thank you for showing up today, by the way. That was really sweet of you. I'm glad that you showed up so that we could enjoy you. Yes, friendship in action right there, people. Friendship in action. Having your friends show up for you.
That's right.
He is cute. That is a cute-ass owl. That is a super cute owl. Anything else, producer son?
Can't hear you.
Anything else? No? You don't have any input? We're just watching him shake his head. We're just watching him shake his head. Yeah, I thought it was funny that he actually mentioned it. That you guys are more similar than we would like to believe sometimes. So and to bring it back to the conversation that we like kind of touched on, we had a conversation at lunch about like all of us having like what did we call it?
Oh, like family wise?
No. When we were all like, oh, we have these attachments to this idea of a person that's really bad for us.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what.
What do
term
we
you guys
call?
used.
What do you call that? Fatal attraction.
Oh.
Fatal attractions. So I also wonder if we have not so fatal attractions.
The same type.
Like, where it's like, so a fatal attraction being like, you like this one specific type of person, but they're really
not good
bad,
for you.
really, really bad for you, but you keep going back to them because who knows? Well, I know why. Yeah. So Ryan's for sure is Aubrey Plaza in Parks and Recreation.
And let's be fair.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She's awesome, but not for Morello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you need, what you want, don't necessarily
Don't necessarily line up. But I also think that like what you need is really similar too. Mm-hmm. So like obviously I need like a Slytherin in my life.
Yeah.
Who needs words of affirmation.
That's so funny.
So if there are any other Slytherins who need words of affirmation, I'm your girl.
That's right.
I got you, because I've got this down at this point. Oh my gosh. Too real, says Dos Equis. It is so real. So real. Oh my god. And the sad part is mine's really similar too, where I'm just like, I am in need of like someone to validate me, but like, hey, person who's hard to love and hard to make love me.
The worst legit person for
Yeah,
this.
exactly. Hi, worst person for me.
Yeah.
I'm really attracted to you. Yeah, it's like the tongue rolls out like the wolf cartoons.
Pretty much.
So good. Boys with glasses that are kind of jerks. Absolutely. That is,
It's
I
our
like that.
archetype.
That's absolutely right. Yes, kind of jerks. For me, I think it's beards.
You just like generally.
I just like beards. Oh my
Makes
goodness.
sense that you live in Seattle.
I don't even know. There was like not enough. I did go into a bar one time and I'm like, dude, every guy here is in a flannel and has a beard. What is going on? I also realized I was in kind of like a craft beer brewery bar. It's like you
Kind of like go to an Apple store.
yeah, it's like you get what you pay for in those types of situations.
My brand.
My brand. We got somebody with a beard. All right. I approve.
Nice.
I approve of these beards. Awesome. So if nobody has any more questions,
Wrap it up.
we can wrap it up and go eat some German food.
I'm so hyped.
Me too.
I've waited all day for this.
Wait, my
Waited
whole
all day
life?
for this. Yeah, exactly.
We're actually going to a place called Beer Garden. It's in Epcot. It's Morello's favorite restaurant. It's basically a German food buffet.
So good.
There's an Oompa band. One of the guys in the Oompa band looks like
It's
Maynard
Maynard
from
Keenan.
Tool.
Yeah.
It's a pretty awesome time. We're gonna go meet up with my fam who's over there right now.
Oh.
Yeah, food. We're about that food life.
Hell yeah.
That's basically like 90% of what we talk about.
Eating.
It's like, hey, did you guys know there's like a HelloFresh but for ramen? We're like, oh my god.
I'm gonna go there. Take me to them.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, everybody, for stopping by, for joining us on this little adventure in hotel Wi-Fi.
It'll be better on YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be great on YouTube, so we'll be sure to post up all of the links and stuff once we do that. And I promise I'm actually going to be better about social media. If you follow us on
Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, I can hear myself. Oh my god, that freaked me out.
Who's out there?
Sorry. He took his headphones off. The producer took his headphones off. I can hear myself. I'm going to be way better about social media and making sure that I post things up, because we are posting these videos on YouTube afterwards, and then I tell literally no one except...
Why are my views 0?
I don't even think I tell Morello half the time. He asked me literally today. He's like, are those videos up on YouTube? I was like, yeah, of course they are. What I didn't tell... What I didn't tell you? No, you didn't tell me. Because of course I didn't. See, true. See, true. All right. So yeah, this will be up on YouTube. You can actually see the two of us talk to each other. I will probably try to upload it onto Twitch as well.
Nice.
So that people who come by can look at it. But yeah. Thank you so much, Sophia, for joining me. I love you.
I love you.
Oh, this was so much fun. And I hope that we can get to do more of when you're doing a thing, having a time will be good. Yes, generally we do post a time. I don't know, we must have forgotten it this time because I was in a rush before we did this. I had a class that I was going to ahead of time. So, but thank you for reminding us of that and for showing up even though we didn't put what time it was on. So, thank you again. I've said it a million times, but I'll say it a million more to everyone for showing up and joining us here for Running Westholme. I hope that you got something good out of this. If you have any questions or comments or heck, even dirty jokes.
Reach out. We want to know.
Yeah,
we
want
to memes.
Send us memes. Absolutely. Send us memes because we are about that and we will sit there.
I feel like I'm like a 50-year-old white mom. Like, send me your memes.
We're only a few years away.
Exactly.
Let's get it on Let's get it on minivans, girl. We're gonna be those moms, but we're not moms.
We're
moms. We're pet moms. We're gonna have like a pet of some kind in a papoose.
That's right.
On our chest. Like, gotta drive him to daycare. That'll be us. Yeah. I'm like a cool mom. Yeah, absolutely. You can drink.
That's right.
But you have to drink under my roof.
Lemonade.
Lemonade.